Florida tonight surpassing 100,000 cases, and President Trump's campaign staff, 2 more members, testing positive following his rally in Tulsa. Coronavirus now spreading at an alarming rate across the U.S. More than 120,000 American lives lost. A dozen states reporting record numbers tonight. Hospital workers overwhelmed in California and Arizona. Florida and that grim milestone, more than half of new cases are under 35. Tonight, Miami's mayor making masks in public mandatory. Arizona setting up tents to handle the overflow of patients. And in Texas, the governor now urging everyone to wear a mask. Meantime, after the president's rally in Tulsa, those 2 additional members of his advance team testing positive, at least 8 campaign staffers now infected. And President Trump is questioned about what he said at the rally, telling supporters he wanted a slowdown in testing in the U.S. Also tonight, the powerful show of solidarity today after a noose was found hanging in Bubba Wallace's garage stall at Talladega. Tonight, the FBI now involved. Wallace has extra security. And authorities now say there are cameras. Other drivers and pit crew members walking beside and behind his car to the front of the field today. All of this after Wallace encouraged that move by NASCAR to ban the Confederate flag at NASCAR events. We have breaking news as we come on the air tonight. A U.S. Army soldier now charged with leaking critical details about his own unit to white supremacists, including location, movements, and security. Pierre Thomas is standing by. The images coming in tonight, the long line of mourners paying respects to Rayshard Brooks in Atlanta, shot twice in the back and killed. Tonight, ABC News obtaining new video from a witness from the moments after the shooting, what it appears to show. In New York City, a police officer facing possible charges tonight, accused of using a banned chokehold during a confrontation this weekend. The DA tonight now investigating and what we're learning about the officer's past record. And the shark attack on the East Coast. The 16-year-old attacked, more than 40 bite marks, saved by his father, punching and kicking the shark.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here as we start another week together. And we begin tonight with the alarming news on the coronavirus here in the U.S. Cases rising in at least 23 states, Florida now surpassing 100,000 cases. In Texas, the governor there saying the rate of increase is unacceptable. Houston's mayor tonight saying we are moving very fast in the wrong direction. Around the world tonight, a record number of cases in the last 24 hours, more than 9 million cases worldwide now, nearly 500,000 deaths. 1/5 of those cases right here in the United States. More than 120,000 American lives lost now. And fears tonight, Florida will be the next epicenter, that new milestone. And tonight, Miami's mayor, for one, saying masks are now mandatory in public. Texas setting hospitalization records 10 days in a row now. In Arizona tonight, 84% of the state's ICU beds now have COVID patients. ABC's Matt Gutman leads us off from Yuma, Arizona, where the president is headed tomorrow.
Tonight, with more than 120,000 American lives already lost to the coronavirus, respiratory therapist Christina Santana is desperate not to lose more.
I've never seen anything like this. Seeing people die, seeing people suffer, seeing people, just having a hard time breathing.
Tonight, 12 states hitting records no one wants. Their highest levels ever of coronavirus. In all, the virus rising in 23 states and Puerto Rico. Florida today topping 100,000 cases. Experts warning it could become the next epicenter. More than half of the new cases there, people under 35. And the point of infection for many, so similar.
The sick individuals have all stated that they've been around a pub, a bar, an event during the holiday weekend, those types of activities. When we call them, they're freely admitting that. And they say, yeah, my friend was at the same pool party. My friend was at the same bar.
Florida, one of the last states to lock down and one of the first to reopen. Today, finally urging everyone to wear masks when social distancing isn't possible.
This is a real spike. This is a real trajectory.
The battle over masks playing out in towns across the country. Officers in California escorting a father and his children out of a Walmart after police say he refused to wear a mask. The governor of Texas, who has pushed hard for reopening, today pushing masks.
I know that some people feel that wearing a mask is inconvenient or that it is like an infringement of freedom. But I also know that wearing a mask will help us to keep Texas open.
The state's infection rate doubling along with hospitalizations, now 3,200 a day. The mayor of Houston now worried.
We are moving very fast in the wrong direction.
And about 2 months after the virus ravaged New York, signs of hope. The city reopening barbershops and salons. Arizona also notching a record number of hospitalizations. Tents set up outside this Phoenix Medical Center. And nearly 4 months after volunteers raced to help on the front lines in New York, Yuma's only hospital now calling for every available nurse in the region and for volunteers.
What happens if this surge, which we're in right now, gets worse and you have more patients?
So we're also looking at other areas within the state of Arizona or even within the nation that we can bring in other resources of nurses.
50-year-old Garrett Craig says he was the first COVID patient to make it off a ventilator alive at this Arizona hospital. His 30-year-old son hospitalized with him.
I was still going out, wasn't worried about anything. I made it a joke, to be honest.
Father and son now warning others not to take this virus lightly.
Social distancing is important. Wear a mask. It's a miracle that we're both here and we survived.
And David, public health officials tell us that parts of Arizona are in their peak right now, and that means there is a surge of people hoping to get tested. In Phoenix, over the weekend, people waited in triple-digit heat for up to 13 hours for a COVID test. David.
13 hours. All right, Matt Gutman, who's been covering this pandemic from the start. Thank you, Matt. Late today, we learned 2 more members of President Trump's campaign team have now tested positive for the virus after the rally in Tulsa. A total of 8 members now have coronavirus. And the president responded late today to questions about something he said in Tulsa, that he wanted a slowdown in testing here in the U.S. Here's Terry Moran.
At the White House today, they were scrambling to manage the fallout from the president's rally in Tulsa. The arena there only a third full after Team Trump promised huge crowds.
Is the president happy with the size of the crowd in Tulsa?
The president was very pleased with the rally.
But the president had bragged that there certainly wouldn't be an empty seat in the House. The pictures told a different story. And even Trump's former campaign manager said today this was not a good look.
Look, I think a fundamental mistake was made. Over-promising and under-delivering is, the biggest mistake you can make in politics.
Even the Fox News morning program questioned the wisdom of this rally.
At the same time, we are during a global pandemic, and I don't know who thought it was a good idea to put 20,000 people in a room and with masks optional.
In Tulsa, the Trump campaign did hand out sanitizer and masks, conducted temperature checks, but 6 members of the campaign advance team tested positive for coronavirus before the rally, and today we learned 2 staffers who worked the rally tested positive afterwards. The president tried to use his 100-minute-long speech to turn the page on the pandemic, but then he said this about testing.
When you do testing to that extent, you're going to find more people, you're going to find more cases. So I said to my people, slow the testing down, please.
His team quickly put out a statement that he was just joking. This morning, the president himself was asked about what he said.
But did you ask to slow it down?
If it did slow down, frankly, I think we're way ahead of ourselves, if you want to know the truth. We've done too good a job.
More fallout from his speech, Trump once again using racist language to describe the virus.
I can name Kung Flu. I can name 19 different versions of names.
The White House defended the slur by explaining what Trump was really trying to say.
The president does not believe it's offensive to note that this virus came from China.
And Terry, we know the president is headed to Arizona tomorrow. He was asked if these events put people at risk. He was also asked to address those comments he made about saying he wanted to slow down in testing.
That's right, David. The president was asked if he was speaking tongue-in-cheek when he said slow the testing down. He said he was speaking semi-tongue-in-cheek. He denied he ordered anybody to slow down testing, but it's clear he's sensitive about these things. He says it paints an unfair picture, these rising numbers of the virus in the United States, and he knows there might be political consequences to it. David?
Terry Moran at the White House. Thank you, Terry. We're going to move on now to that powerful show of solidarity today after a noose was found hanging in the garage of Bubba Wallace, NASCAR's only full-time driver who was black. Today, drivers and pit crew members escorted Bubba Wallace and his car to the front of the grid. Wallace had strongly pushed NASCAR to take that step to ban Confederate flags at races, and they did. Tonight, the FBI is now investigating, and Wallace now has extra security. Here's Victor Oquendo.
Tonight at Talladega Superspeedway, an incredible show of solidarity with driver Bubba Wallace before the race. Drivers and pit crews from every team marching along with Wallace's number 43 car. The powerful moment necessary after a noose was found by a team member hanging inside Wallace's garage stall at the track on Sunday. Wallace, the circuit's only full-time black driver, emerging overcome, embracing NASCAR legend and team owner Richard Petty, who called the incident a filthy act. The drivers then bowing their heads in prayer.
And as we stand together against racism, by your Holy Spirit, guide us to true liberty and justice for all.
Team officials say the noose was found by a member of Wallace's team who immediately reported it. The FBI and the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division now investigating along with NASCAR.
You want to make sure that Bubba is safe, and we have stepped up security.
Wallace, undaunted, writing, "As my mother told me today, they are just trying to scare you. This will not break me. I will not give in, nor will I back down." The hate-fueled attack coming about 2 weeks after the Confederate flag was banned from all NASCAR events.
There's no good that comes with that flag, and that's the message we're trying to get across.
That charge for change boldly led by Wallace, who emblazoned his car with the Black Lives Matter hashtag. Sunday's race was postponed due to bad weather. 5,000 fans were welcome. The Confederate flag was not, but plenty of them outside, and even one flying above, those words reading "Defund NASCAR." Tonight, these words on the infield: "I stand with Bubba."
NASCAR officials have said that the garage did have surveillance cameras, and we also know that there was only a limited amount of people that would have that kind of access because of the coronavirus. NASCAR's president says he wants the people responsible banned for life. David?
We word on those cameras, Victor. Thank you. We're also following that developing headline tonight. Terrorism charges have now been brought tonight against a U.S. Army soldier accused of leaking critical details about his own unit to white supremacists. Authorities say they believe they were plotting an ambush. Let's get right to Pierre Thomas, our Chief Justice correspondent. Pierre, what have you learned?
David, federal prosecutors are calling U.S. Army soldier Ethan Melzer, 22, of Louisville, quote, "the enemy from within." The FBI says Melzer was allegedly orchestrating an ambush on his own unit deploying to Turkey, providing critical details, including its location, numbers, and weapons to the Order of the Nine Angels, a white supremacist group that worships Satan. Investigators finding this image of a knife in a book related to the group in Melzer's iCloud account, the plan allegedly diabolical. The London-based neo-Nazi group was to pass the information to jihadist terrorists so they could attack the soldiers. Prosecutors claim that when confronted during the interview with the FBI, Melzer declared himself to be a traitor. David?
Troubling developments tonight. All right, Pierre, thank you. In Atlanta tonight, they are preparing to say goodbye to Rayshard Brooks. And this evening, ABC News has now obtained new video from a witness from the moments after the shooting. ABC's Steve Osunsami with what it appears to show.
People were lined up under the hot Georgia sun to pay their last respects to Rayshard Brooks. His family will bury him tomorrow in Atlanta. His killing here on June 12th in the parking lot of a Wendy's restaurant at the hands of Atlanta police has divided the city and helped fuel the national movement demanding police reform.
Will you take a preliminary breath test for me? Just yes or no?
I don't want to refuse anything.
It began as a DUI, and when Brooks refused to be put in handcuffs and ran off with one of the officer's tasers, former officer Garrett Rolfe is seen shooting him in the back. Rolfe's list of charges include felony murder. Officer Devin Brosnan posted bail and is fighting an aggravated assault charge. A witness says he saw one of the officers trying to help Brooks as he was dying and shared this video with ABC News. The officer who he says he saw helping is Rolfe.
You can tell that one officer was really concerned about Rayshard while the other officer was analyzing the situation.
In statements, both officers say their actions were appropriate.
Police are demoralized by all of this. Former Officer Rolfe has a bond hearing tomorrow. He's currently being held without bond. That hearing is taking place as the family for Mr. Brooks will be here for his funeral. David?
All right, Steve Osunsami, our thanks to you again tonight. Meantime, a New York City police officer is facing possible charges tonight. The DA is now investigating Officer David Afanador for allegedly using a banned chokehold during a confrontation with a man yelling at police this weekend. The officer has been suspended without pay. He was acquitted of pistol whipping a suspect in 2016. Now to the new questions tonight after Martha Raddatz's interview with President Trump's former National Security Advisor, John Bolton. She pressed him repeatedly, why didn't he share the information in his book with the American people during the president's impeachment trial? Here's Mary Bruce tonight.
President Trump's longest-serving national security advisor, John Bolton, is now warning Americans that Trump poses a danger for the republic and should not be reelected.
We can get over one term. 2 terms I'm more troubled about.
In that explosive one-on-one with ABC's Martha Raddatz, Bolton says he heard firsthand from the president that he was withholding security aid to pressure Ukraine to investigate the Bidens. But Bolton refused to testify in the House impeachment proceedings.
I think the way the House advocates of impeachment proceeded was badly wrong. I think it was impeachment malpractice.
You could have been that person providing that testimony.
And it would not have made any difference.
You can certainly understand why your critics say, why didn't he come forward before? Why is he making a profit on this now?
You know, it has nothing to do with making a profit. It has everything to do with making sure that the constitutional responsibilities that are accorded to different branches of government are carried out the right way.
Now, Bolton isn't ruling out that he could still testify, and tonight we know that top Democrats are seriously considering whether they should subpoena him. Democratic Chairman Adam Schiff, who led the impeachment trial, saying that the public needs to know exactly what they have in this president. David?
All right, Mary Bruce, good to have you on a Monday night. We're going to turn now to that shark attack, a 16-year-old boy surviving the terrifying attack in North Carolina. Here's Adrienne Bankert.
Tonight, the terrifying images, some 40 puncture wounds from a shark attack on a teenager just yards off a North Carolina beach.
Tried lifting my leg up out of the water and I saw, oh my God, it's a 5-foot-long shark attached to my leg.
16-year-old Nick Arthur now sharing how he desperately tried to fight it off.
The pressure was so intense. I was trying to pry its mouth open.
Tim Arthur, hearing his son's screams, joined the fight, finally getting the shark to let go by hitting it on the nose. Nick was rushed to the hospital receiving 17 stitches, but suffering no serious injuries in last week's attack. Shark bites are actually way down this year, only 18 worldwide since January 1st, the lowest levels since 2005. Experts believe it is likely due to fewer people being in the water during the coronavirus lockdowns, but more people are headed back after beaches began reopening in May.
And David, though attacks are down, nearly half of shark attacks worldwide occurred in the U.S., 2 in Florida waters. David?
Adrienne Bankert with us tonight. Thank you, Adrienne. When we come back here, those severe storms tonight from Dallas all the way up to Chicago, dangerous winds will track this. And we remember a famous director tonight.
I am Robert Strickler. I've been